Welcome to the Grand Shorts, a part of the Grand Podcast. The Grand. My name is Niels Tudor Winter, and I'm the creator, editor, and host of The Grand. The Grand is an independent podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system on topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. This episode is part of my shorts format. It is episode number 10 in my communication shorts series. Kasper Ravnsted Larsen is an old contact from Brussels. He is a journalist and has been working on a generic communication approach and strategy outline for organizations. We decided to build a podcast series rolling out this strategy in short and concise episodes with concrete examples. With this, I also want to get closer to you, dear listener. We want to get your feedback and for you to share your experience and insights on the topics we discuss because it adds depth and reflection to the benefit for all. So, what will we do? Well, I have ordered 10 mugs with the Grand logo and one of them already went to Brussels, as some of you might have seen. You can also win that mug. Now we're almost done with the communication short series, so there's only 2 chances left, this month and next month. So how do you win it? Every month we choose the best comment or question posted on LinkedIn to win that exclusive The Grand mug. You can't buy it, you can only win it. And even better, by the end of the series we want to make a listener panel where all winners of the mug will be invited for the podcast recording where we discuss and exchange on communication strategies within EU R&D funding. In this 4th batch of episodes, we will have 3 episodes zooming in on the theme on getting attention on social platforms. We have 10 bullets we'll run through during these 3 episodes. Here in the 3rd episode, we have a look at the importance of monitoring and responding when you have thrown something out there, when you have made a post with your content on the social media. And finally, of course, we look at how to analyze the performance because you need to adjust. On the episode side, you'll find our script so you can follow our discussion as you listen. You find the link in the episode notes where you listen to your podcast. Please enjoy. The Grand. Welcome to The Grand, the EU funding podcast. We are, Kasper and me, we are in the middle of our 4th batch of episodes on communication strategy within EU R&D funding, world and area. And we reached to the 3rd and final short episode in this batch. We've been talking about social media, how to use social media, and in the first episode, more strategic elements, and the second one you just listened to, hopefully, it's about your language, and how to use engaging language and visuals and so on in the actual post. Now, sorry, Kasper, welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
The 3rd one, what are we going to talk about the next 25-30 minutes, Kasper?
I think we'll continue straight where we left off. Like the last thing we talked about in the previous episode was in engagement and calls to action in social platform posts.
And it was difficult for us to keep it short.
It was, and please do go back because you even made a interesting point about ethics behind using some of these tricks that the platforms provide for you to use. And I think this next thing here is sort of along the lines of that. Is like it's basically monitoring and analyzing what happens on social media, right? On your, like when you did a post. And I think where we left it off was talking about like how, like when you engage, when you call your audience to action, when you do that, how often or how should you use the trick of getting them to comment, for instance, and thereby engaging them so you can engage back and get other people to engage because they're interested in the same questions or topics. But if you play this game, it is very important to obviously not just post something and then think of it as an article that was in the newspaper last month.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a very non. So it's like this is very organic,
Mm-hmm.
very non-generic. Generic, I was going to say. So keep up with what's going on. I'm not talking once a day. That depends on your audience, your topic, etc. I'm talking if you're doing this regularly. I think several times a day, probably. Uh, without, but again, this is all relative. In order to, if people are being critical, for instance, close that down. You know, hug, giving mad people a hug is usually the best way to get them
Kill it
to
with love.
yeah. Uh, for instance, that's a for instance. I mean, it could also be that people are saying your post raises some interesting questions, and by the way, I did this and this and this. Um, but like, keep an eye on what's going on, because what if somebody actually asks you, if you did a study and that's what your post was about,
Mm-hmm.
like what if people have follow-up questions?
Mm-hmm.
That
It's
would
dangerous.
that would it I wouldn't say rude, but it would just be weird if you left them hanging. If
Yeah.
you really want to engage with them, use this opportunity to do so,
This is
and provide
so.
provide that information that you didn't provide in the actual post, because you left something out for them to actually engage,
Mm-hmm.
and then start providing information, of course, because now you're providing a service. Now you're engaging in a debate, in a discussion with them about whatever topic. So yeah, I mean, and be friendly, be polite.
Always,
This, oh, I mean,
no matter
even
how.
even though people are being
Yeah.
a holes themselves,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. Kill it with love, like Noah said. You know, you've seen these comments a million times. Thank you for your very interesting insights into this topic, and for providing me with the link to your own research article.
Mm-hmm.
This obviously provides new perspectives that I will take into consideration,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or whatever you can come up
Yeah,
with. Or
yeah,
it
yeah,
might also be something more substantial and detailed because you actually want to engage with them. Fine.
yeah.
As long as the point is here, as long as you monitor and don't leave people hanging, at least, at the very least, like their comment, because that shows them that you've seen it and that you like the fact that they commented.
And you know what? That is actually one of the most difficult things to keep up with if it's not your work.
Yeah.
If you engage yourself, if you have your own personal profile, you know, like you have for something that's work, then you know, if you know, even if it's your work, to if it's not your core responsibility to communicate on LinkedIn. Yeah, if you have a date, you know, it's your job to do something else. You're a project manager, and then you keep an eye on this. And this is what I find, at least, that sometimes because I don't get a lot of comments for my stuff. My listener numbers are fine, but I don't get a lot of comments in under my episodes. But you know, I have to. Oh yeah, I have to go and make sure that my guests, if they share, I have to go like, you know, like I make sure to
Mm,
thank them very much and always welcome back. So I do what I can to engage with whatever comes, but it is one of the things that I find in my day-to-day rolling with and working with LinkedIn is the one where I have, oh yeah, I have to go and and make sure that it doesn't die if someone has put a comment.
mm. It is a B word of a time consumer,
Uh,
and to be frank, most people are in the situation that you just described.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, large organizations, they have SoMe departments, sure, fine, and
it's
they
their
do
work to
this,
do.
so they sit and look at this every day. It's their job.
Yeah.
But for most people, definitely, like you described, it is very difficult, especially when you have 700 other things you have to do during a day.
Mm. But I'm happy to hear the thing with killing with love because I don't get a lot because it's not I don't make content that make people angry. But it happens that people get angry. You have two
Yeah.
occasions. First one back when I just started off the podcast, and I was focused on making episode on the stress and anxiety and burnouts. That is a lot connected to proposal writing sector, especially private consultants. And I put up a graphic video with people relaxing in the summer. This is not you, and then a photo with someone with the head in the computer. This is So I tried to make it provocative and fun at the same time. And then there was one. It's one of the only time through the whole. That was just when I started off. Which what kind of it's totally disrespect for the grants writing sector. I had to calm myself down. I said, "Thank you for your input. It's just what I need. Would you like to be a guest on my show?" She never wrote back, but I was writing it in a kind tone. I kept myself from being aggravated, right?
Yeah, and what you achieved was closing her down
Exactly.
totally.
Yeah.
Because obviously she would have been welcome on your show,
Sure.
but you also knew that probably she was just letting out steam in a like impulsive, moment. And I mean, this whole discussion about like tone behavior in general on social platforms is, I don't know, that we could probably do a 6-hour standalone episode on that. But if I have to say one thing, I generally think that these platforms are great communication tools if you know how to use them right.
Mhm.
But they have also created a opportunity for everyone to have an opinion about everything
Exactly.
at any time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think I need to add to that what
Everybody knows
problems
what we're
that
talking
might
about.
entail.
But I think within this world, Casper, it's not that if we're zooming in on
no.
the R&D world, it's rarely that you get the occasional uh, fight in the comment section. But I did had just recently. That's actually only 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, where I had an AI in my AI series, a debate with the two persons who are not fond of chatbots in proposal writing. And one of my listeners, he got particularly angry with the point of view from the one from one of the guests. So that was the first time someone has put. So he wrote, I think three. When people do this when they want to write long stuff. So he wrote a long thing, and then came another comment with a long thing, and then yet another. I think there were 3 or 4 blocks, and I just said, "Look, thank you for your point of view, Diana. She's a dedicated professional with her own point of view, but I need this kind of. So if you want to be on the show, it'd be wonderful if you want to be a guest. It's always good to invite them in as guests. You're like, didn't hear anything. If you listen to this out there, you're welcome in. I have to underline this. Would be wonderful.
And if nothing else, at least it shows you that somebody listened and that somebody is actually
Exactly.
engaged in the topic.
It made me actually happy.
This is what you at least, because this is what you at least get in a very narrow segment, when you have a very narrow audience.
He was not being. It was not a jerk. He had a valid point of view, but it was obvious that the point of view from my guest was was making him, putting up his pulse.
Yeah.
But anyways, so here, yes, it's. I guess the main message is if it's not your daytime job to be communication, then it's you push yourself, have to do it. But for everybody else there, because we have a lot of communication professionals listening to this, you know exactly what we're talking about. It's your job.
Yeah. That's not. I mean,
it's for this is probably for the juniors. You just got hired for an association or research institute or something like this cluster, and you're supposed to understand how you work.
This is for somebody who did not do this a lot. I mean, yeah. And probably them communication professionals out there might scream in your social media comments at me and my ridiculous amateurish points here. But
then we will have. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's say something
That's
stupid to make somebody angry.
I'll be happy to debate. No, well,
I think
I
Trump
mean,
is a nice guy. No.
the final point of this batch here, Nils, is I
Yes.
have written down is like the analysis, and this is like with everything else, with websites, newsletters, etc. You do have tools available for you, analytics tools, where you can track how much people engage, who obviously that there are the obvious ones like likes and shares, comments. But if you use social platforms professional, you'll also usually get access to extended, like an extended data set with like who click your, like how many people click your links. Yeah.
Yeah.
Engagements in general. I mean, some it is a little bit different from platform to platform what they provide for you. But I mean, experiment with it. Try to like Facebook nowadays has a pretty extensive analytics system behind. And once you have a page rather than just a profile, you get access to more data from
Yeah.
on that page.
Yeah.
But you also have to pay for stuff. Don't get me wrong. You have to be willing. If you want like perfect overview of your performance, then you might need to splash some cash.
And I think it should be clear that these kind of tools should go elsewhere for it, because we cannot cover this in podcasts series like this, because it's too complex on how to work with specifically these analytical tools. How to it's a lot in there that you need to understand.
It's
And
very different from platform to platform. So that would take an episode for each platform at least. So yeah.
that's not the point here, because you have
It is once again, anyway, the point of it is just this helps you refine your strategy. This helps you refine, let's say you even
its impact. What works, what doesn't work.
if you for your strategy, obviously your social media strategy, because you can like change that along the way according to your performance. But also just for you, Nils, for instance, which is, I guess, strategic as well. But you each week you release an episode.
Yeah.
You get to know your like how your posts performed each week, so you can just basically each week take what you learned and do it a little bit differently or whatever. So that would be what works. Like, does your like the video that we talked about previously with the captions, like with the sound bit from the, like, how does that perform? How does it perform when you put captions on it? How does it perform when you put a person in it, etc.? All the stuff. Go back to the listeners. Go back to a previous episode, and then there is nothing wrong with repeating what works, because it might be that people have forgotten what happened on your profile a week ago, or actually it might not be. It's pretty damn sure that they will have, so they're not going to think of it as you just he's not creative, he's always doing the same. It will not, most likely at least not, like damage your credibility in that sense, because it's you have to think of the context in which people see it. The context is not a feed of all your posts. The context is a feed of all posts that the algorithm finds interesting for that person. So don't be afraid to just like exaggerate even your whatever works for you. Then again, do it again and again. If it works, it works.
What I notice is when I do something new, a new tool in my, so when I first launched the podcast, for instance, it was like this, bang, yeah, that post
Yeah.
went through the roof, and then it mellowed out. And now I have a stable. It's pretty stable. It's
Mm.
not. It's actually not moving that a lot, and I'm working with that. It's also one of the reasons why I'm doing something like this with these short episodes with you. I try to move all the time to a place where I get more reach, people that find this interesting to listening to my stuff, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that can have benefit from it. So I want to reach these people. So I try different things, yeah. But it's tricky to, so how new should you go, or should you? Yeah, it's
This is a good. This is an interesting point because obviously what happened there was that all your followers discovered, wow, okay, I can. This is where I need to support Nils. This is super interesting.
exactly.
A lot of likes, and once like the algorithm has found out who sees who likes your post, then it's gonna start repeating that pattern to them, and eventually they're gonna think, okay, I don't need to like it every time. I'm
Yeah,
happy that I get the update. I don't need to like it or comment it every single time.
yeah,
So that's why you obviously experience this, yeah, mellow
yeah.
out, as you said, yeah,
And then the same thing happened when I introduced the graphic videos. Yeah.
yeah,
So before I was just having a a banner and then the text. But when I the first episode where I had the sound snippet, the
mm,
graphic video, then bang again.
yeah. And the same thing happens. And one of the reasons is that people actually, all the stuff we have talked about now about engagement, and they don't do that. Because if they were strategic about their social platform use, they would keep at least liking or reposting or whatever
Mm.
all the stuff that they like and they want more of, because then obviously they would get more of that. But so this is actually a different point to the whole engaging part, is that it's not only your own posts that you have to engage with. You have to be strategic about who you follow, what you like, what
Oh yeah.
you, because this will just, what you're doing is basically teaching the algorithm what you like,
Yeah.
and this optimizes the chances of you to engage or like to be noticed by your audience, who people who have the same interest as you.
Actually, we haven't talked about this, but it's the which people do you connect with? So one thing is the ones that you have. When I started out with the podcast, I had, of course, a big segment of ER&D because that's my career, right? But the podcast has made me aware of the fact that I need to connect with people within the community that I don't know, but I working with it. But
Mm,
also, what I was a strategy for me was that when I started this, I got on LinkedIn. Whenever I would get likes, I would see, am I connected to all these people? And if there were people not, then I would connect with them. So they would they get my notice next, they get it in their feed next time I come with an episode. So sort of constantly building up
mm,
with new people, new circles, yeah, new
mm.
spreading the rings in the water. So yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, we didn't touch upon that yet, but I think it's part of this topic we started this episode with, monitoring, of course, your own posts, but also the platform itself,
Mhm.
scanning it, doing your research, following the right people. The interesting thing is, like, for instance, on X, which is, by the way, totally, there's a whole separate points about that at the moment, but also true for other platforms, is that it doesn't actually take more than just following somebody to get a refollow usually, because people often are, I think lazy a little bit maybe, and think, okay, but if this guy is interested in me and
Mhm.
what I post, then I'm probably also vice versa.
Yeah.
And specifically on LinkedIn, where it is very professional, very topical, I think there's a good chance that a lot of people think that we share interests if we follow each other probably, or are connected or whatever.
Yeah. Is that it?
I think for now, I think we could go way deeper into a lot of things, but this is just like with the other episodes we did.
We made the key points, and we
Yeah.
put a little bit more meat on the bones here to sort of fold it out. So I think it's good, and it's perfect short.
So I hope people got some use out of it.
Yeah. Dear listeners, thank you so much for listening to the end. Do go to my platform, thegrand.eu. I will put a link in the episode notes. All episodes here have episode notes as their own site. So you can go to my platform while you listen to this, where I will put our own script here that we're following, so you can sort of follow what we're talking about. So do that. There's also tons of other content, both on communication, but lots and lots and lots. So I have more than at this time should be more than 150 episodes. While you're there, support me. Do subscribe to my email list. It helps me as a podcaster. And finally, connect with me on social media. Talk about today. Go to
And me.
LinkedIn. Yeah, and Casper, of course. Connect with us. Many of you, dear people, already are, but do that if you're not. And go and like my page, the Grant page on LinkedIn. That's where I try to channel traffic in. So, and Casper, he's up for grabs. So if you need help with strategy, communication strategy, and so on,
Yeah, I mean, I do from time to time consult. So do reach out. No worries. Happy to help in some form. Definitely.
So we're not finished with the series yet. We still have at least one batch to go, and that's a more overarching batch of episodes where we will talk about more up in the helicopter, strategic planning, crisis management, media relations knowledge, which is a guideline and can be a guideline for you as a communication professional with different elements. Do you have anything to say about it, guys?
We're gonna try to explain why it matters, why communication matters, basically. Yeah.
And that's good. Just been looking through it. It looks it's nice. You can look forward to that. Finally, before we tab out here, do write comments if you have anything to say. Do give us your feedback in the comment section on LinkedIn when this comes out. We'd love to hear anything from your comments or other ways of doing things. So lots of please engage with us.
Yeah.
Dear listeners, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Grant. Want to win the mark? Well, find this post in my personal LinkedIn profile or the Grant LinkedIn site, share your thoughts and throw a question or give us a comment. Or give us some feedback. All the Grant episodes have their own site on the Grant website. You'll find the link in the episode site where you listen to your podcast. On the site for this episode, you'll find a link to Casper's personal LinkedIn site and his communication company. Further, there will be links to the communication series main page, and finally, you'll find the script that we have used so you can follow the examples and the structure of the strategy. That's all for this round of my communication short series. On April the 14th, we will be releasing the next 3 short episodes with a more overall focus on how to deal with your communication strategy. Look forward to that. The Grand